Okay, we are on horse number 3. Again, another 2-year-old that has a handful of rides on her. This filly naturally has a lot of stop. She is a little bit thicker built and has a little bit of hard time with the bending side to side, so we're going to make sure that she's soft. Help her in her stops to hold that front end up and allow that hind end that naturally wants to come over, and guide her onto the circle and help her with her leads. So we'll go straight to the jog and put her on her circle, and we cluck, and she goes right ahead. That's great. This filly is extremely smooth. We call her air ride. And right here where she lopes, I just pick her up and help her a little bit and ask her to jog. She's got I don't know if you can see it in her gait, but she is extremely smooth. And her nickname is Air Ride. And right now I'm just letting her find her circle and find that rhythm with her feet. I don't mind them going at a fast rhythm as long as it's a consistent rhythm. Slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast is not good. It's either be slow or be fast, but just find a consistent rhythm and stay on your circle. See, she's kind of going slow and fast and maybe lope and maybe jog, and so I'm going to pick her up and start in with the collection because she's having a hard time being out on her own. And right there, she's just fighting it a little bit. I'm going to pull her from side to side, side to side. I'll start to say, if you need a little more to think about than just going on the circle, then I can do that. I do a lot of this side winding around with these colts. It's come to that pull, come to that pull. This is a lot of work. So pretty soon she's gonna think this is a bad idea, and that circle just might be a pretty good idea, because this is pretty much what she's doing to me when I don't want her to do it, but now I'm making it a job. All right, so now I'm gonna say, maybe now you might want to find that circle. Instead of messing around so much, get up underneath me and pay attention. You're not out in the pasture with your buddies. You need to drive forward with those feet onto that circle. There. Much better. So now I'll go ahead and ask her to be a little soft in the face. Bump between my reins, squeezing with my legs a little bit, because it's not just about her face, it's about her body coming up underneath me. So she's struggling with that a little bit. I'm just going to keep helping her. I feel like I need to pull my inside rein a little bit more to lift that shoulder, to help her lift her body up a little bit. And when she does give, I hold, and then I'll release. I don't want to release as soon as she gives, because then she just plays a little game with me that then she just flattens right back out immediately. So I want to be able to hold her there and go a stride or two, and then I'll release. Ask her for that collection. She wants to argue about it. I'm driving her forward with my feet, and then release to her. Go to that collection again. Good. She had a little less of an argument that time. I'm really having to pull a lot of inside rein, which is okay if that's what she needs to get the job done right now. I'm fine with that. Bump, bump, bump. Good. Now I'll pull my hand to my hip, come around in a circle. She has a hard time holding that frame, so I'm just continuing to work on bumping her forward with my feet. Pull that inside rein, bump her forward with my feet. Right back to my bigger circle. Always looking up where I'm going, reading the signs on my horse. As she gets more warmed up here, she'll start to hold it and get better and better. There. So now we'll let her go. Make sure she's still thinking about our circle. She's not winding around like she was. She's keeping a more consistent rhythm. And then I'll go right back to that collection. She didn't want to argue about it as bad that time, which is good. Okay, now we got her going. We're going to ask her to lope. Outside rein, outside leg, popped her shoulder and her rib right underneath me, got that lead. Ask her for that softness. She kind of wants to argue with me right there. So I'm just gonna massage her. Just pull that left rein, bump that outside rein a little bit, and say, listen, sweetheart, soften up, come to that pull, relax. This is all about just kind of giving it up to me. Let me be the leader, and let me hold your hand, let me help you, and follow me. This filly kind of acts like a stud a lot of times. She'll reject pressure with a stud kind of a oomph to it. And she's the leader of the pack out in the pasture, and she thinks she's the leader here. So a lot of times we have to remind her that she's not the leader of the pack. She needs to follow. There, so now her back's getting more round. She's kind of getting softer. Sometimes she feels soft, and then sometimes she feels like she just lays on me. And when she lays on me, you'll see me just pull her just like that and seesaw until she backs back off. I'm using a lot of outside leg right there, asking her body to come back up underneath me. I felt like she was drifting. Right there, she wanted to dive in, so I sent her straight. Okay, left rein, sit back, hand to your hip, look, drive with your feet. Sit back, hand to your hip, look, drive with your feet. Good, so now I feel like she's getting a lot better. Sit back. So what happened there? She floated to the gate. She thought, my buddies are on that tie rack over there. I'm gonna drift on out there. Send her straight. So I'm gonna set her up for it again. Come over here, pick her up, there. Ooh. So as you saw, this filly doesn't have any more rides on her than the other ones, but when I quit riding from the first time I rode her, when I quit riding and say the stop word, she just drags her tail. The only problem I have with her is she's pretty heavy and wants to dump down in the front. So I need to do a lot of softening and get her to come to this pull and soften in the face to where I can lift her shoulders up and get her soft in the face to help develop that stop. She's going to be a real natural plus stopper, but I'm going to have to work real hard at the rest of it. Now we're going to go the other way. Right hand to my hip, left leg. You can see her attention is still on her buddies out here. So I'm going to pick her up and send her across this circle this way. It's really important to pay attention to what they're looking at, because babies, it's kind of like when you send children to preschool. We send children to preschool to start to develop the simple rules of standing in line and sitting on the mat and patience, following directions, and putting their attention on something for more than 2 seconds. Baby 2-year-olds are the same way. Their attention span is very short. It's why we only ride them for 20-30 minutes at a time, but also they need to learn that when they're in here, their attention shouldn't be on their buddies or other places. Preschool. She's in preschool. Okay, so I'm going to let her find this circle again. Get her cadence, get her moving out at the same speed. That's what cadence is, where they're not going slow or fast. If it's 2 miles an hour, then stay 2 miles an hour. I don't want you to be 1 mile an hour, 5 mile an hour, 2 mile an hour, 3 mile an hour. I just want the same speed. Okay, so she feels all right. And go ahead and ask her to soften in the face and in the body. I see that chomp on the bit a little bit right there, so I'm asking for a little bit more. Try to get her to where I can really get some softness and she can be content right there, and then I can let her go. That's all argument. She's just wanting to argue about it. There. So then I start to pull her left to right a little bit again. Forward motion. You'll hear me say forward motion a lot. If you guys take one thing away from this video, forward motion. Forward motion will get you out of most binds. Their feet have to be moving to correct something that's going to happen in the next stride. Everything you need to do, you need to think about what's wrong here, I got to fix there. I can't fix it here, this has already happened. So that's where the forward motion comes in. Got to go to the next step. So when I want to pull my rein to my hip right there, she wants to just dive in. So I really got to use a lot of inside leg and help her with my outside rein a little bit. It's not a constant pull with my outside rein, it's kind of a bump. And I say, listen, it doesn't mean dive in, it just means come to that pull. Back out to that big circle, come to that pull, there. She wasn't real soft in the face, but she didn't dive her body in. Come to that pull, there. Okay, we're gonna put her on her circle and ask her to lope, helping her with our outside rein or outside leg for that lead. So she really, at first, was gonna get the wrong lead, but I was able to shove her over on the correct lead. So it was a perfect amount of help for her. Again, I want her to really be driving forward on this circle. Then I'll start to ask her for some collection to turn across the pen. Grab that right rein. Remember that before she dove in on us. She's getting tired. Right rein. She wants to argue about it. That's good. We'll go in a circle. Getting confused. I just keep on working at it. Kick her forward, keep bumping her. There she gives. Good. Straight ahead and turn. Good. Straight ahead and turn. Good. She's trying pretty hard right there. Straight ahead. Oh. And stop. Finish that stop. So she's just a little rude in the face and a little front endy. It's the only reason why she doesn't stop better. So we'll put that front end to work. Outside leg, outside rein. Put her together, drive her forward. Oh. So again, very stiff in the front end. If I could get her front end to back off, I could help her in that stop. Oh. I'm not afraid to pick up my rein, smack her on the butt for some forward motion. Oh. Okay, that was better. It's not about getting the huge slide. It's about that she didn't just lean on me out in the front. She didn't just fold up and come to that pull, but I felt like she didn't lean on it as much. As I continue to ride her, I just need to continue to really soften this upper end. If I can soften her face, her neck, and in her shoulders, I'll probably do quite a bit of counter arcing. I ride her forward, get her collected, and push her off. She's never done any of this before. But if I can get control of those shoulders and be able to move those shoulders around with that face, I want her nose to the outside. This is a counter bend or a counter arc. See, I have a real hard time moving her shoulders. Her shoulders are what I'm looking for there. And it's because I don't have a whole lot of control of her shoulders because she's only been rode a handful of times. But I'll work on that. Right there, I had to kick her pretty hard to ask her to move those shoulders. But as I get control of those shoulders and soften her up, I can really start to help her in her stop. And she's going to be a big time stopper after I get her softened up. There, so she already softened up right there quite a bit. Ooh. And then I was able to help her and hold her right there a little bit. These babies that you're trying to set them up for success, not failure. It's important to climb that ladder and keep on doing more and more, but surely make sure that you recognize when you've gone too far and back up. That's what that foundation's all about, and don't be afraid to take one step back. It'll usually give you 2 steps forward. We'll get the next horse.